Today we're going OTB, otherwise known as over the bridge. Someday I'll do a whole video on how to be a local in Southwest Florida, like saying things like OTB. Let me know if that would interest you. My last few videos were about Punta Gorda, but today we go over the bridge to Port Charlotte to explore their waterfront properties. Yo, I'm Adrienne, longtime Florida realtor, and I'm here to help you get your Florida life. Happy Wednesday, everyone. If you're new here, new videos come out every Wednesday, but of course you can watch them anytime. Subscribe and you never need to know the day of the week. In this video, I'm going to break down the waterfront neighborhoods in Port Charlotte, so if you're looking for houses online, you know if you're looking in neighborhoods that might suit your waterfront and boating needs. I'll also tell you which areas I'm watching closely in the next few years as good investment ideas. If you've watched my videos on Punta Gorda waterfront, you might imagine they're similar. Somewhat, but not really. I'm going to get more in detail about the neighborhoods in Port Charlotte in just a second, but first, here are the main differences between Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte real estate. One, unlike much of the waterfront in Punta Gorda, most of Port Charlotte, but not all, has no deed restrictions. If you want a boat and a woodworking shed, or you want to store your RV on your property, Port Charlotte is the area for you. Two, in Port Charlotte, the canals are maintained by the residents. Some have formed organizations to maintain their canals, and others are more loosely managed. This does save you some on taxes, but you have the responsibility of working with your neighbors to maintain the canals. Number three, when it comes to waterfront, you have more variety in your options in Port Charlotte, which allows for a bigger range in pricing than in Punta Gorda. While many of the canals lead out to the Peace River and then out to the Gulf, some are too shallow or go under low bridges, making Gulf access difficult to impossible. You might feel like that is a no-go for you if you're a serious boater, but if you just like to fish or kayak out of your backyard, these locations will save you money. The farther north you go in Port Charlotte, the shallower the water gets, and way up north you'll find water that's more kind of like a creek than a canal. And again, it comes down to what do you want to do on the water. You boaters are likely going to want to be in the southern part of Port Charlotte or on the other side of the Myakka River in South Gulf Cove or Gulf Cove. Let's start with the Edgewater area of Port Charlotte. This is the place if you want to be centrally located and close to open water. It is where Port Charlotte really got started, so you see many older homes in the area, but you also see some new, larger homes. South of Edgewater is sailboat water. North of Edgewater is powerboat only. At the end of Harbor Boulevard, you'll find the Port Charlotte Beach Complex. Pick up a game of tennis, go swimming in the river or in the community pool, or just hang out. It's a gorgeous place to spend an afternoon. If you're looking to go really large, you might like Grassy Point. Grassy Point is a gated private community. Every house and lot gets a private dock with quick water access. Because of its easy access and its central location, the sailboat side is one of the pricier areas of Port Charlotte. I also put it in an area to watch over the next few years, as Sunseeker Resort is to be open in the fall just around the corner. To the west of Edgewater is the O'Hara area. This area is a little newer. It is more tucked away. If you don't want to be right on top of the action, but close, this area might be for you. There are also rim canal lots here, meaning you're overlooking mangroves and vegetation, giving you a nice private view. The perimeter canal is called the Manchester Waterway, and it does have an association. There is a small assessment on your taxes on the waterway. Currently it's $100. They maintain the waterway. There's only one access point in the O'Hara area, but the Manchester Waterway Association is pushing to dredge another. It is a tough project to get approved in Florida. I have no idea if or when they'll succeed, but the association is a great way for you to get involved if you move to the area. Before we go over to the Myakka River areas, let's take a look at Harbor Heights and the Harbor View Road area. Harbor View Road is between 41 and 75, and Harbor Heights is north of 75. There isn't a ton of waterfront in Harbor Heights or in the Harbor View Road area. Some of it is pretty shallow to boat, but the views can be amazing overlooking the river. I want to talk about it because it is definitely in my areas to watch. If you're an investor, listen up. Both of these areas have sections of fantastic waterfront with mostly non-waterfront homes around them. The non-waterfront homes range in age and condition wildly. Historically, there hasn't been much to draw people to this areas if they didn't want to pay for the waterfront. But Whiskey Joe's plans to build on the water there, and Sunseeker is going in on the other side of the bridge. I can't predict the future, but I imagine that this is going to do wonders for this area. Now let's head over to the Myakka River side. There are two main boating areas over there. Gulf Cove has very direct access to the Myakka River. It has a voluntary property owners association to maintain the private park and boat ramp. South Gulf Cove is a deed-restricted neighborhood with an optional HOA. It has a lock between the homes and the water, so it does take a little longer than it would appear on a map to get out. You could be as close as 10 to 15 minutes to open water or up to an hour. This is very much an area that has seen a lot of development in the past few years, and I only expect it to see more in the near future. There you are, Port Charlotte waterfront real estate in a nutshell. You can learn more about Punta Gorda waterfront by clicking on the video to the right. Of course, I can't cover every inch, so if you have questions, please reach out. My contact info is below. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I will see you next week.